And this week, I was going through what God has done for us and where we are now, because we started the church in February of 2016. We took a year to pray, plan, all that stuff. And in February 21st, 2016, Take Heart Church had its first service right here, mostly friends and family. Over 100 people came, and we've been going ever since. I remember coming back from Guatemala, Casa Shalom, and we did a outreach in Greenville for kids with cancer. And it was in that moment that I knew that everything I had been through with Take Heart, in youth ministry, was leading me down a different path. I didn't know it would ultimately be a church plant, but I knew it was a different path. And it was from there that God took me to a random conference in Jacksonville, where he spoke to me in an altar and said, everything that I've done at Take Heart and with your journey in youth ministry has led you to plant Take Heart as a church. And so here we are. I remember that first preview service. We had it on January the 17th, I believe, 2016. We had it at the Cultural Center. We set up around 70 chairs, and I think 60 people showed up. And it was all family, all launch team, all kids. And you're talking about scared. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing, from music style to how to set up a coffee station. We had rehearsed, but it's different when you have those services. So that first preview service, I'll never forget being nervous, but I wasn't scared because I knew we got 2 more opportunities to do this before the real thing. We did one preview service. A lot of people came for family. The next one, not as many. And we did our last one the weekend of Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day actually fell like that Saturday, and we had preview service on a Sunday night, and so maybe 40 people showed up. And I never forget thinking, we're already declining, and we haven't even gotten to our first service yet. So yeah, I was pretty nervous. I was scared to death of that first service. I didn't know. Everybody that had came to the preview services were friends and family. There were not a lot of people who would come and actually join the church, because we didn't necessarily promote it like we would a normal service, and we just really didn't know what we were doing. And I think there's something beautiful in that, because God stepped in, and on that first service, I legitimately thought 30 people were coming. 110 people walked through our doors, and it was an awesome God moment. February the 21st, 2016 was a day I'll never forget. I mean, he's done that every time, from the times that we didn't know if we'd have a place to meet for church, to not knowing if money would come in, to not knowing if we'd have enough money to buy a sound system. Every step of the way, God miraculously came through, and he has in this new process. We didn't think it would work, and it worked. He's always said, basically at the end of it, why did you worry? I'm in control. So it was in November of 17. We were going to have Big Vision Sunday on December, I believe, the 3rd, 2017. And me and Bridget were coming back from bringing our girls to their grandparents' house, and we were riding down Fort Shoals Road, and I never forget looking to my left and seeing this church. And God spoke to me, and I looked at Bridget and said, that's our home. I didn't know how, I didn't know when, I didn't know the pastor there, I didn't know their situation, knew nothing about him. Well, it was that week that I began to prepare my message for Vision Day. And God gave me some very specific things that he wanted us to do for the church. But one of those was that he wanted us to plant a church in another country. And so that was the big reveal. But in that, I wrote in my notes that with that, God would, as we planted a church in another country, God would then give us our permanent home. That's in my notes for that Sunday. Within the first year of our church, I remember telling our leadership team, I said, I feel like that God is going to ask us to plant another church before we even build our own church. And that really makes no sense, right? 0 sense. And as I was praying for this, God specifically said that in 2018, Take Heart is going to plant another church. Before I could even preach the message, Jonathan Hill had called me and said, hey, we feel like we're planting a church here. And within a couple of weeks after that, I got a phone call saying, would you be interested in this church here? Because there has to be some changes, and they're going to have to move out. So man, God fast-tracked it. He spoke to me. We planted a church. We got a church before I could almost really even speak the message, which was amazing. But I couldn't share all of that in the Vision Day because it was in very infant stages. So today, on May 6th, I am so excited to announce that God has given us the opportunity to do some big things. And I want to share that with you, and I want you to see it. So while the Malden Cultural Center has been unbelievable, God might be taking us in a different path. And I'm here to tell you, Greenville, Malden, Simpsonville, the upstate of South Carolina, that Take Heart Church is here to stay. Let's go check out where God's sending us. It's the whole thing, from God speaking to me that this would be our home, to people actually setting it up for it to be our home, to going through the process, to trying to get a loan, to things with the title not working out and God coming through. And every moment has been a God moment. Every moment has been a moment that I could not manufacture. Every time I thought I was doing it, I failed. The moment I gave up, God stepped in. I was confused through a lot of this process because I knew that God had spoken to me, just like He spoke to me to plant the church, just like He'd spoken to me about the cultural center, just like He'd spoken to me about planting Monastery and More and helping John and Amanda. Everything that I've ever done has been a step of faith. And I knew that pursuing this was going to be our home. And there were moments in this process in the last 2 months that we legitimately did not think it was going to happen. We thought it was going to fall through. And I remember thinking, God, why did you put us through this? I told my church that we were going to get a home, and it was falling through. And I remember telling Bridget, maybe I misheard. Maybe this was me. And every time I did that, He reminded me, nope, it's never you. It's never going to be you. And it's never about you. It's me. Now watch what I can do. And He always came through. Literally in the last hour, He came through. Every time.
Take Heart Church to me means family, community, love. It's genuine. I mean, you walk in the door on Sundays and people are actually happy to see you, like generally happy to see you.
It's given me a way to kind of volunteer and get into a nice community, make new friends.
It's mean a lot. It means community, just friendship all around, and just experiencing God's goodness in one whole family and becoming one whole family.
I am looking forward to our grand opening because my kids are, so kid oriented, but my kids are so excited to see all the work that is going into the heroes, and just to see everyone come in and just see how all the hard work is paying off, and just a place that we can call home.
I think I speak for everybody when there will be no more setup in the mornings. So I think that's just a huge plus for a lot of us. So
I'm most excited about October 7th is to see the finished products, to see all the hard work that we put into it, to finally be in here, to finally see a service in here, to finally see our kid ministry in here, and I guess knowing that I don't have to set up a breakdown anymore after that.
What's up, Take Heart Church? Mike Barber here. How you doing? I'm with David Cooper. Woo! It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna do a lot of painting, so bring some clothes that will watch out there.
Hey, what's up, Facebook world? It's Josh, and we are coming to you live from our very first church workday at the new building.
We started doing some work in the sanctuary there.
We have some of our kids here helping out.
Yeah, I did it all by myself. It just came back.
Wow.
Yeah, there's just a ton, right? This is just a brief update. I want to let you know that we're here working hard.
I never thought I would start a church, much less a church that's made the difference that Take Heart's made in 2.5 short years. I don't know what the whole future holds. I think that coming in here, what will God make Take Heart ultimately? I don't know, but I do know this. I do know that He gave us this building not to have a great light system and not to have awesome media, which we do. Thank you, James. Not to have an amazing worship team. He gave us this building to be a beacon of hope for a community. And in my message today, I'm going to be sharing that God has called this place to be a place where people come back home, where when they find themselves lost and hurting, when they find themselves unlovable, when they find a place where they need a hand, they need a community, that this place will always represent a place where people can come home. And so what has God spoken to me about Take Heart? We're going to be who we are. Nothing has changed about Take Heart. We're the same culture, we're the same loving people. What's changed is now we've got a building where the community can always find us. And that's why this building is important. We will always be here when lost people are found. We will always celebrate when His children come home. And we will love any person who steps through these doors. That's why we put so much work into the flooring and the lighting and the videos and the carpets and the yard. Everything that we went through, all 8 months worth of stress and work, was because we want somebody to find home, to find Jesus, and ultimately to find community in us. We are here to stay. Take Heart is not going anywhere. The enemy tried to make us go somewhere. The enemy tried to shut us down, but we're here to stay. Not going anywhere. So Malden, Simpsonville, Greenville, Taylor's, Greer, Take Heart loves you, and we're going to be here when you decide to walk through our doors.